In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the 9 biggest mistakes that event-based business owners make and how to avoid them. Let's get into it. Guys, my name is Brian Waldron, did $3.5 million in event-based brick and mortar sales by the age of 26. Now we have the #1 event-based consulting program in the country, showing over 419 clients how to find, fund, and fill their very own event space. Let's get straight into it. The first biggest mistake that event-based business owners make is thinking that this is going to be easy. You have to understand that just like any other business, there's competition, there's operating costs, there are pitfalls, there's a whole bunch of things that are working against you, and you have to understand that just like any other business, just like any other thing, this is not going to be easy. Number 2, this is the big one, not having your personal credit in shape. Now, obviously, you can use your own money to get into the event space industry, to get into the event space business, but why not use somebody else's? So one of the biggest things that we do in event space leads is we do something called the credit stack and assessment, where if you do have the required credit score, we will do a full analysis of your credit report to see the best banks and cards we feel you have the highest likelihood of getting approved for to get it done and get it knocked out. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you have your personal credit in shape. What does that mean? 680 plus, less than 4 to 6 inquiries in the past 6 months, less than 30% utilization, 100% payment history clean. If you don't have these things yet, there's definitely different ways to fix it. Obviously, you could go to a credit repair company, you can get a debt consolidation loan to reduce the utilization, or you can just pay those people and take care of it that way. But you 100% want to have your personal credit in shape so that you can utilize funding and leverage that to go ahead and get your business started without utilizing any of your own money. Number 3, doing too little. What do I mean by that? One of the biggest misconceptions of getting into the event space business is doing too little spaces. What do I mean by that? When we are finding a space for our premier client, for those who don't know what a premier is basically our offer where we find the space for you in as little as 60 days and get you 50 bookings in 90 days. One of the biggest things that I have to emphasize to both event space leads clients and to people who are not in event space leads clients is the level of volume that's required to find a space quickly. Now, don't get me wrong. You might get lucky. You might find a realtor who's really on the ball, who has a space, doesn't need a lot of work to do, they're ready to go, good price, and you're off to the races, right? 9 times out of 10, that's not gonna happen. When it comes down to premier clients, and I'm just gonna give you guys the numbers, we on average are looking at calling 500 spaces a week. We are at that point doing and pre-approved 50 spaces a week, as in they are zoned for the property, they're zoned for event space, they're good to go. Out of those 50 properties, about 5 of them will go in C, maybe 2 or 3 will put in an LOI, which is a letter of intent, and maybe about 1 of them will go ahead and will go to actual lease. So 500 a week down to 1 a month. That's the level of volume that we go and put inside to get our clients a space in Premier. So if you don't have those level of resources, if you don't have a team of outreach specialists, a credit specialists, and all these different people, you are going to have to put in that level of volume if you want to go ahead and get the right property quickly, which is why so many times before people join event space leads, they're like, oh, I've been looking for a property for years, and they can never get it. Why? They're just simply not doing enough. Number 4, not having your documents prepared. Now, this is a pretty straightforward one. A lot of times when people are trying to move forward with a property or move forward with a space, they just don't know what is required. On average, they are going to ask for tax returns, they're going to ask for a business plan, they're going to ask for an ID, they're going to ask for a credit check, they're going to ask for all these different things just to go ahead and move forward with that property. There are some times that they might even want these things before they even show you the property. So it's better to have them up front before you go ahead and even waste your time or theirs. Number 5, not doing your market research. This is a really big one. One of the biggest things you want to understand, and this goes for any business, you have to research the market before you get into it. You have to know what players are in your market, what people are providing, what they're selling, how much value they're providing. When you start your business, you can go ahead and either provide similar level of value or more. That is the biggest thing. When I first started BK Event Space, one of the first things that I did was something called a market comp analysis, where what we basically did is we cold called every single venue in Brooklyn to see what they provide, what hours they were providing, how many people they were serving, how long they've been in business, how many reviews they had, so that we can go ahead and either match that or provide something better. If you don't do your homework, if you don't do your research, you will get flattened like a freaking pancake. Number 6, not having a lawyer review your lease. This is diabolical work. If you are signing leases that a lawyer, that an attorney, that a legal professional has not reviewed, that is a recipe for disaster. Like, I'm telling you, as God is my witness, this is before I had my attorney that I have now. When I signed my first lease, I had hired one of those like lawyer in a box services where like you like pay them a flat fee, they review it once and you're off and you're gone, you're good. This guy reviewed my lease once. I thought I was good, signed it, later on realized I was paying half the building's real estate taxes. Now, what does that mean, right? Typically, when you are paying for, triple net, pro forma, real estate taxes, CAM, insurance, whatever the case may be, you do it on a pro rata basis. Whereas if there's 5 properties in the property, then you go pay 20%, simple math. There were 3 properties in the space and I was paying half the building, which means the landlord was profiting off of me. And literally, I was stuck in that for 3 years because I did not have good legal representation. Simple. Number 7, overspending on build-out. When I opened up my first location, Fulton in Brooklyn, New York, I had spent probably about $30,000 building out the property. That was probably one of the worst decisions I could ever make. Now, don't get me wrong, we made it work, we made it happen, but I would not wish that on my worst enemy because that is just not it. Like, one of the biggest things that we preface in Event Space Elites is something called an MVP, minimum viable product, where you go in, you get the property up and running, doing the bare minimum, and then you take the money that you make from your pricing and packages to go ahead and pay for improvements on the property. That is the way to go. If you are not doing it that way, I know people who have done diabolical work. I'm talking $100,000 in their event space and then get shut down. That is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do it whatsoever. Minimum viable product, make the money, take the money to reinvest into your property. That's the way to do it. Number 8, not knowing how to market before getting into this business. Oh my goodness, I could write a song on this. You don't understand how many people get into this business and just think that they are going to open up their doors and the clients are going to come. And guess what? The clients never come. It is a certain level of arrogance that you need to think that you're going to open up a business and the demand is going to be that strong and the competition is going to be that little that you are going to open up and then people are just going to come without any type of marketing. That does not happen. It never happens. Now, don't get me wrong, you could have a really, really strong support. You could have it where, your family and your friends come out and they all support you, whatever the case may be, but that is not long-lived. It's not long-lived. It never, ever is. And number 9, simply get discouraged. One of the biggest things that we talk about in Event Space Elites is that there are a few things that we know they're going to run into. They may as well use that information and be prepared for it. And one of those is getting funding. We always let our clients know, if you don't get as much funding as you would hope for, just talk to the credit specialist, get another credit stacking assessment, let him know what problems you're running into so that we can fix them and move forward, which is why pretty much all our clients get funding. The next thing is get discouraged when a space falls through. Now, one of the biggest things with Premier is that we focus on volume. We focus heavily on volume. So I can literally have a space at lease. I will still have my team finding more spaces. Why? Because I know that at any second this deal could fall through. The landlord could change their mind, they can go with somebody else, whatever the case may be. You always want to be ahead of the curve. You don't want to get discouraged. So the better you know the process, the more you can prepare for it. Guys, my name is Brian Waldron. I make these videos to inspire entrepreneurship, showcase the event space industry, and of course, it's just a lot of fun. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it, let's go.